Well, hello again, and welcome to Roland's Reviews. Please welcome our distinguished guest from Brutally Honest Talk Radio, Mr. Elmo. So I will upload a video where uh, Brutally Honest Talk Radio interviewed me, and we had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And so I told him I love it. I'm definitely ready to come back on. And so I said, hey, come on the show. The more, the merrier. Okay, so
Yeah.
uh, first of all, I'm going to let you, tell the audience, the subscribers, about your platform, what your platform is about, and then we'll start talking about some things that are going on now politically now
Sure.
as we speak in America. Okay?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Rolynn.
Right.
So I am Elmo or Elmo the Conservative, and I'm co-host of a podcast called Brutally Honest Talk Radio. Co-host is Inger, and we discuss politics or political issues and social issues, which everything affects people in society, or
Right.
things need to be talked about or dealt with. So, Brutally Honest Talk Radio, and we can be found on YouTube, Amazon, iTunes, and Spotify. And anyone who wants to see video and not just hear the audio, you go to YouTube, and then when you
Right.
subscribe, you hit the notification bell because those two guys are twins and work in tandem.
Okay. All right. Very good. So first of all, how did you become interested in uh, you know, doing a podcast? What was your motivation?
My motivation or inspiration was a radio personality named Neil Bortz. So I found out
Okay.
about him about 20 or 22 years ago. I live in Atlanta, and I think he lives here too. But the show is syndicated, and
Okay.
so I just loved his truth, his rawness. People in Atlanta know about WSB, and so he was just talking about things going on in mostly politics, but things going on in society, and it just you cannot combat the raw truth, when it's spoken. And then he would let people call in and ask questions also, and almost defeated everyone he debated. And so I just thought that was a very freeing, liberating
Right.
thing to do, or occupation, to be able to have this to for me, almost therapeutic, to get things off my
Right.
chest. But
Right.
also it can bug you when you have ideas about things that you don't hear anyone else saying.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, if like I don't need to repeat what other people are saying, but I have some other ideas and other takes on this that maybe
Right.
can make a difference and influence people for the best.
Okay. Uh, Excellent commentary there. Question for you. You said you're there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You're conservative. How difficult is it for you to navigate uh, the community as a conservative? Do you find that extremely difficult?
It is difficult in the way that the left or the liberals are so emotional and so uh, have so much tenacity that I really need to ease into it. If I'm going to talk about politics with anyone, I need to find out where
Right.
someone is, and they don't
Right.
have to be conservative, but they need to convince me in a fairly short time that they're a critical thinker, that they're open minded,
Right.
and that I just start talking to them. And I mean, Biden
Right.
is the president now, so I'll start with the president. What do you think of the job that Biden has been doing, and what do you think of him? And I can
Yeah.
tell by their response how much they're paying attention and how
Oh yeah.
plugged in they are. You
Right.
know, but with that said, I guess I'm not as courageous as a lot of other conservatives, because I don't go out in public wearing Trump T-shirts and MAGA hats or things that show that, because I'm be honest, I live in a black community, and
Okay.
although a lot of blacks have started to support Trump and come over to the conservative side,
Okay.
all it takes is a few nuts.
Right.
It's all it takes is a few, and
Just a
so
few.
it's okay. So I kind of feel like a closet conservative, if you will,
Yeah.
but I just, I believe in a constitution. I want everybody to go about their life and handle their business and do what they need to do, and
Yeah.
we should be able to have a civil discussion, just like the Constitution said that we have a right to a peaceful assembly. So
Right.
whether it's 100 people or two people, there should be, both sides or whoever letting it be known how they feel about something.
Okay. Okay. Good answer. um, what do you attribute um, the sudden change in African Americans who are saying, okay, there is another party, uh, who they, say some never in their lifetime have given conservatives a chance. So, what do you attribute the change to all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Or say
So
with the last 3 or 4 years?
yeah, so it's a combination of things. I would say the job that Biden has done, regardless of who the last Republican candidate was. Looking at Biden, anybody that's paying attention, they have to think that a lot of the things that he says and does are ridiculous, ridiculous policies, the things that he advocates for.
Right.
Um, Everybody that's paying attention saw that we sent so far over $100 billion to Ukraine, but Maui was neglected. The
Okay.
worst wildfire in the history of America in terms of just the number of people that have died, 100. And it took
Yep.
a month for Biden and his entourage to go out there. Now, when Biden was running for president, one of the things he said was, if you want flooding in the Midwest to go away and hurricanes in the Gulf and wildfires in California to go away, then vote for me. I didn't know
Mhm.
how he thought he could control the weather, but a few years in, then
Yep.
he came back around and said, we need money. We need money for climate change. So if you give us
Yep.
money, I can make all this go away. Now, Maui is not in California, but it is a part of the United States. And
Right.
look how he was not able to stop it. So,
Facts.
Maui as one example, and then also East Palestine, Ohio neglected with the Norfolk Southern train that overturned and the chemicals spilled, and there was a
Right.
cloud blocking out some of the sun with the chemicals,
Yeah.
and people's fish floating up to the surface of the water, you know, being killed, and people's drinking water being affected, and they were
Facts.
neglected. Trump got out there before Buttigieg did, who's Secretary of Transportation.
Right.
So, all this money that's being sent to Ukraine, I think people pay attention to that,
Right.
and he can't put sentences together. He says ridiculous stuff. He's fallen down on camera at least 8, 9 times, right?
Right.
So that being one thing, and then Trump brought a lot of people to the Republican Party because Trump was in there before Biden, and it
Mhm.
was very good for African Americans. And then
Okay.
also most recently, what happened with Trump and the trial, and
Right.
just how it's something that's so small, like as far as how it affects you and me,
Right.
and just the way that this all happened has made people. A lot of people have said that they
Yep.
weren't going to vote for Trump or not going to
Yep.
vote, weren't going to vote at all, and
Yep.
now they are.
Yep. Because a lot of them were saying, "Hey, I've been in a similar situation," and they're
Mhm.
looking at like, well, if they're doing this to a multimillionaire, what the heck would they do to me?
Right.
And so
Right.
people are internalizing it. And I've seen some videos here on YouTube, and some men were talking about how they were railroaded by the justice system. So this like they're not multimillionaires, but they're like, wait a minute, we understand. The same thing happened to us.
Right.
So, if, and again, anyone with two eyeballs that work can look at it and say, wait a minute, something's not right here. Something is amiss. Okay. Why are they putting so much time, effort, and energy into convicting this man? And we know why. They know Biden's not going to win. They are freaking out. They are losing it. And they know he's not going to win.
Yeah.
And they just can't, they don't know what else to do. So we know, if you watch my video from last Sunday, uh, they brought up that Trump called the contestant from that show that he had, of course.
From Apprentice.
The Apprentice said that Trump called him the N word.
Oh, I
No
saw
one
that.
can, no, yeah, no, and no one can provide a video. And I'm just, that's why I did the video last Sunday. You've had almost 50 years of Biden making racist comments, but he gets a
Mhm.
pass. Why
Right.
is that? And
I'll
no,
tell you why. I tell you
right. Go ahead,
why.
tell us.
The Democrat Party has done a very good job of convincing black people that they're family. They're like
Yep.
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
Right.
Like if there's someone in now, some people are tribal like this in their own families. If there's somebody
Right.
in their family that robs a liquor store or steals a car, it's okay because we know they mean well.
Yep.
It's all right.
Right.
It's all right. And then they try to turn it around on other person. So you ain't got no bad people in
Exactly.
your family, and you don't know nobody ever done anything wrong. So it's a double standard,
It is.
and
It is.
having a double standard is wrong or being tribal.
Yep.
So and this goes all the way back to the plantation strategy, and the Democrats' business model lines up very much
Yep.
with the slave owner.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows the history of this and knows the teachings of Willie Lynch knows
Yep.
that when he had that slave owner Comic-Con convention in Virginia, he told all the other slave owners who weren't able to control their slaves and running into rebellion and uprising, he said the thing about pitting the young against the old, the light against the dark, the women against the men. He said, but above everything else, the most important thing is they believe that you love them.
Right.
When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's really surprising, but it makes sense. Because if I believe that you love me and I'm staying in your mansion and you're providing my clothing and food and shelter, then even when you take off the shackles and chains, you don't have to worry about me running.
No,
You don't have
not
to
going
worry.
anywhere.
As a matter of fact, after the laws change and slavery goes away, as you know, I would say tens of thousands of black people or ex-slaves asked or begged their master if they could stay on the plantation and work for free. Now
They
that's
did.
real slavery, is mental slavery.
It
That even
is.
costs less because now you don't have to spend the money on the iron to make the chains and do the manufacturing. That's less work. I
It
wind
is.
you up, I wash your brain, and I send you on your way.
Facts. And it's the same. It's still in effect. Everything that you said, um, I've said in one form or fashion in my videos. So we do think alike there.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been saying that last few videos. Yeah, you're not physically enslaved, but you're definitely uh,
Yeah.
you know, emotionally and psychologically enslaved. It's mental, and uh, sometimes that's just as bad because you don't know
Mhm.
physically.
Right.
Obviously, you're bound by chains, but a
Right.
lot of people that are emotionally enslaved. They don't have a clue. And the sad part is, Elmo, when you try to tell people even if you tell people I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for, but
Mhm.
here's some truth over here that you may not be familiar with. And a lot of Democrats, I'm telling you, They're supposed to be the party of tolerance. They're
Yeah.
no, don't want to hear. They don't even want to hear it. How that's not being very tolerant. So, what do you think about that, Elmo? That they're the party of tolerance, but to me, they're the most intolerant people that I meet.
Yeah, very, very monolithic and locked into their ways. And there's so much
Yeah,
ideology and just just all these, the woke agenda, and there's like a list of things that you're supposed to believe or you have to believe. The leadership
right.
is telling people. I mean, he said it on a show that anybody could watch, but he was really talking to black people, saying that if you have to
Hmm.
think about who to vote for, you ain't black. But he's
He
not going to
said
say what it means if a white person has to think about who to vote for,
no.
or if an
What
Asian person has to think about who to vote for.
he only
He's
goes
talking
to
to us.
Black America. They only
Yeah,
go to one community and
right.
say these things. They don't go to any other community in America. Why
One
is that?
part of a community, too, only go to the church. And they only
Tuh.
go to the church because they're scared. So they won't go to the black neighborhoods. They won't
Mm-mm,
go and set up. Like when Trump was
mm-mm.
speaking to a crowd that was black or in the black community, he was at
Right,
like a city hall or looked like
right.
an auditorium or a school somewhere when he said, "Look at your schools, look at your communities.
Hmm.
What has the Democrat Party done for you? And voting for
Nothing.
me, what do you have to lose?"
And that was a
Because
true statement.
the church is really a bubble compared to the rest of society. But it's
Mhm.
like let me go
Yeah,
somewhere where I know that they don't have a problem mixing religion and politics on
exactly.
Sunday morning. Come
Right,
on in, sit in the preacher's chair, or stand at the podium and get up here because we're okay. We're assuming, we're expecting that everybody in here is in lockstep with this. So I'm
right.
not worried about losing donations or losing members by you coming in here and speaking. And
Exactly.
then also, a lot of people don't know because when my generation and the last generation and before that were born, this was already in place. So they
Oh
don't
yeah.
didn't see the origin of it. They just see the effects.
Right,
And we are products of our own environment, your personality and what you do. You're products of your environment. Many people don't know why we do what we do, and so there's this propaganda that goes out. But many are breaking away from that and seeing that it's weak what it's saying. And
yeah.
I challenge people to contact you or me and tell them
Right.
how their life has been better, how their life has been better. And just one of the people that I debated this week, who I didn't even bring up politics, but they kind of know where I stand, so they wanted to ask me about anything. And so the question was, what has the Republican Party done for black people? And I'm like, what you mean by that is, what have they given us?
Right.
Like how the slave master gave them food, clothing, and shelter.
Facts.
Now, if
Right.
you really want somebody to be free, and if you
Right.
really care about them, you'll let them stand on their own 2 feet. You'll
That's
encourage
fact.
them to own their own business and get their own land, and not
Get
be
your own.
dependent on the government.
Right. The government's a mess. And
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with someone. They were asking me why, particularly, especially black men, um, are abandoning the Democratic Party. And I said, well, the scales are falling off their eyes, and they're
Yeah.
finally coming to the realization that the government destroyed destroyed their family and put them out of the home. Okay,
Yeah.
with LBJ's Great Society, and
Yeah.
when him starting the welfare state, say, okay, we'll help the mother and the children. The father has to go, and so now
Yeah.
it's like in mass, black males are waking up and saying, wait a minute, they removed us from the home. So now you're talking about in America, you're talking about all of the fatherless children
Yeah.
and the high incidence of unwed mothers. Well,
Yes.
if you tell people not to get married, they won't get married, and that's what you did. You told
Right.
them if as
If
long as
you
there's
want
no
this
man,
money, If you want this money, the parents of your child can't live together. The mother and the father can't live together.
That's crazy. And we know
That's the
that's
best way to destroy a race. Is if you destroy the family, then you destroy that race. And we're not. I mean, we're still alive, but
right.
there's so many epidemics in the black race and in our community and in our family because of the
The
destroying, the
destruction
breaking up of the
of
nuclear
nuclear
family.
family. And that's what I've talked about that um, in some of my videos. I think I told you I'm an avid follower of Dr. Thomas Sowell. He
Mhm.
talks about that extensively. Larry Elder's been talking about that, my God, since the 90s. And none of the race hustlers wanted to listen. They kept, talking about everything else. But how can you fix an issue if you're not even willing to acknowledge it?
Right.
So anytime you bring that, I've seen several videos again. Larry Elder was talking about this in the 90s. And every time he would say something to Al Sharpton in reference to, what the problem is, Al Sharpton, that no, everything, the issue is white supremacy, racism, systemic racism. It's the same crap.
Right.
No, that's not it.
Right.
It's the
Trying to get people
breakdown of the
mad,
family.
trying to get
Yep.
people angry
People
because he's
emotional. He's
probably smart enough to know that anger and heightened emotion skews your judgment and clouds your thinking.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And so when you think you vote, you're voting emotionally, and you've been indoctrinated to believe Republicans are racist, Democrats are your friends. And that can't be
Roland,
further from
let me ask you, because I was wondering about this. I know that one of the tactics of the Democrats is whatever is going on with them, they accuse the other party of the same thing. You may know some
all of it.
individuals, some people like this. So I don't know exactly what to call that, but I don't know if there's a name for that.
Hypocrisy.
Oh, this
Hypocrisy.
hypocrisy. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, it's when I tell people, I have an ex co-worker. She works for another school district now.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you watched one of the videos, a couple of videos I shared, the inconvenient truth about the Democratic Party from PragerU. And she looked at it, and then because I kept telling her, watch it's a little short video, it's less than 6 minutes. She looked
Mhm.
at it and she was like, oh my God. She did not know, like most Black people don't know,
Yeah.
that KKK was started by the Democrats.
Right.
And there's several things I can, but that she was just in shock. And
Mhm.
now, again, if we can reach one person, she told me she's not voting for Joe Biden. And
Mhm.
she's been watching my videos. And I told her, don't just listen to what I say. Click
Yes.
on these videos. I have website links up under every video. Check it out. And
And
go
but
ahead.
I just want to mention, like, some people may think, well, that was a long time ago and parties change and people change. I want people to know that, I mean, I don't see the Klan like coming out with sheets, but
No,
some people talk about that like that's a bigger threat than
that's what they
someone
say. The
being
race
hurt by
hustlers say that.
another black person. However, I
Right,
can tell you that Joe Biden gave the eulogy at a Klan member's funeral.
right.
Now, this is a good way
Yeah.
to test to see if you have a double standard.
Oh
If
yeah.
I don't even know if he's still alive, but if God forbid David Duke were to die and Donald Trump were to speak at his funeral,
Oh my
think
God.
about think
They
about
would
what the
lose it.
media would say.
Yep.
This is just in case you think of writing it off and giving Biden, he was already in politics.
Oh
He was
yeah.
already in politics when he did this. He
But he
must
gets
have
that.
not cared or thought that this could ever come back to bite him from preaching.
He's
So
he's been made again. I talked about in last Sunday's video. He's been making racist statements for almost
yeah,
50 years, but he always got a pass because he was a Democrat. Oh, he's
right.
Democrat. He can't be racist. Oh,
Just like
please.
it's okay for black people to say the word nigga. If
Right.
you don't mind me saying that. This is
No,
why
you're
we're
fine.
okay with it, because we're family. So it's okay for us within this family
Yeah,
to call each other that word or call women bees.
exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly.
Like try to
When
twist
someone
the
else
meaning
says
of
it,
it
it's a
because it comes from
problem.
us. Right, right.
So again,
That's
double
hypocrisy
standard.
too. Yeah,
So you listen to today's rap songs, and
yeah,
they're using that word every other word. But someone call, oh my God forbid, someone should call them that that's not black. The world's going to end. So
yeah.
the hypocrisy is real. And that's my issue. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what the old people used to tell me.
Mhm.
And again, that's why I talk about the things that I talk about on my show. Because I let people know, no, that's not okay. And what you
Yeah,
just mentioned, that's part of the racial idolatry
yeah.
that's rampant in the culture. If someone's black, they're okay. Just like Fonnie Willis. And then what's the other guy's name? Shoot, it'll come to me. But
There
anyway,
was any affair with her or a different
no,
case?
the guy who trying to get the Trump uh, prosecute. What was his name? Oh shucks, I just watched a video on him too. He was at they had him at a black church, and they just, regardless of what these people do, I'm going to tell you his name in a minute because I'm going to look it
Mhm.
up because I just watched a video on him.
He was
And
one of the prosecutors
now
in
let
the
me
case.
see. I'm trying to
That's
that he
fine.
was at this black church. Um, and of course they're praising him just like they did Fonnie. And it's like, no, it's like if you're black, you're okay. You don't do any wrong.
Mhm.
Alvin Bragg,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. And again, he was at a church and they were praising him, and Da Alvin Bragg. They were telling him how wonderful he was, and everyone's happy. Same way they did Fine, they were praising Fonnie, and you're praising her after all these horrible things that she did. Um, but it's because she's black. You feel, we have to be on her side.
And then also there's a thing now where black people, we as a group act like children. Like we want special privileges. We want to be able to tear up stuff and get away with more, and not
Yep.
not even being equal. It's like we have this thing where we want to do an overcorrection where the pendulum swings
Right.
back the other way. And like I mentioned, I heard somebody mention that the white people had a head start on us. And so we need to catch up, or we need to have as many
Yeah.
black presidents as they did white presidents. That's not important.
No.
That's not how you get to
Policy,
equality.
policy, policy.
You need to
I
get
don't
to a baseline where
racial.
everything is the same. Where if people were blindfolded and you just looked at the facts of how they were treated, you can see that it was fair. There doesn't
Yeah.
need to be payback. You can't have it where black people are not held accountable, and then you
Yep.
want to call it racism, whatever. And let's say the Republicans or Trump wanted to go after Fannie because she went after him first. Okay, sometimes in politics, opposing parties fight and go after each other, but it's
All the
okay. What it
time.
comes
All the
down
time.
to is it the law? Is it the law? And
Right.
and so, she should have known not to do this, not to do anything that would cause her to stub her own toe in this. She
Right.
should know better. I don't know how old she is, but she looks like she's older than me. And
Right.
this man that she got involved with. So, it is, let them get in and duke it out. And also
Yeah.
want to say that after Trump's conviction, I felt two emotions basically. For one, I felt violated. It was
Hmm.
a scary feeling. It was almost like nobody is safe. Like anybody can come and
Right.
get you if they don't like you. Like Ocasio Cortez wanted to create this list of everybody that voted for Trump and then send it to their employers.
Mhm.
Even though when we go in a voting booth, nobody else sees who we vote for.
Right.
Like
And that's what I was
creating
saying. That when
like
that verdict came down,
Gestapo.
people were laughing. And I said, this is not funny. This is
uh,
is very scary because
right.
if they can do that to a multimillionaire, what the
Mhm.
heck do you think they can do to one of us? And so
And
I said,
let me
this is not a laughing matter. It's not.
let me mention this also because people may not like Trump or may have not voted for him or whatever.
Right.
And like you said, he's a millionaire. This is only because the Democrats are scared. Understand that
Mhm.
politics
Very
is the
scared.
acquisition and maintenance of power, but to lock up
Right.
your opponents, to lock up your opponents, and it's only because this is an election. So I mean, it's just a mosh pit. Like the Stormy Daniels thing was only one part of it. They threw all this together, and it's by no coincidence this is happening this
Yeah.
year, right before the Republican convention begins. And think about the fact, okay, like they don't even care. They don't even care about what Trump did. And to prove that, look at Judge Kavanaugh,
Yep.
somebody who Trump was trying to have on the Supreme Court, someone that he endorsed, and he was accused of raping a girl 30 years ago. Date rape, or when he was a teenager,
Yeah.
and at a house party where people were drinking. So they went and dug up this person who didn't even remember what happened,
Right. Right.
right? And then all these Democrats out there going, "Well, this is something we need to fight against, sexual assault against women, and Me Too, and coming. This is a stand. We need to stop this and let men know that they cannot get away with this." As soon as Kavanaugh was out of the running, as soon as there was not a chance that he was going to be on the Supreme Court, you didn't hear anything else
Yeah.
about him in the news. He has never been arrested.
No.
There's been no prosecution, no trial, because they don't care. They don't care what
No.
he did to this
Power,
woman.
power, power.
If
That's
they
all
if
it's
they
about.
really care, if they really believe that he committed rape, they would have gone after him even after
Hmm.
the Supreme Court was out of the picture. So
Yeah.
think
It's about
about that.
power.
All because that was Trump's boy.
Of course. Power, power, power. Um, that's the name of the game. And again, that's straight from the Democrat playbook.
Yeah,
That's what they've always done because it's always been successful.
yeah,
And they're not going to change. And again, it's not going to work this time. I mentioned that last Sunday with this racism, racism, racism. People are looking at their pocketbook and like, wait a minute,
yeah,
forget racism. And like you mentioned
yeah,
earlier, uh, you don't need to be worried about the Klan harming or killing you. You need to be worried about these young black males who are harming and killing so many of their own.
yeah.
So, but the poverty pimps and the race hustlers, have the
Yeah.
boogeyman out here. Oh, white supremacy, and no, and
This is,
it's not that serious.
I
Most of
was,
us are out here working, in our careers. We don't have time to think about
yeah,
people who don't like us. We
yes,
don't.
yes.
We're out here working, gainfully employed. We're living our lives. White
Mhm.
supremacy has nothing to do with me. If you believe in
Right,
God, what are you afraid of?
right, right.
That's just how I feel about that.
And
Um,
immigrants, brown immigrants, come here and they don't talk about racism. They know that the opportunity
no,
here is better than wherever they came from, where everybody may have been the same race, and they're able to
right.
pass up almost everybody. You know,
Come
but
here. Not this last wave, but
yeah,
in history, immigrants from all
yeah,
several different countries come work hard, boom, they're living the American dream. But then
yeah,
Daddy Biden, of course, Jim Crow Joe, opened the borders, so of course, so that he could have a new voting block.
yeah. And
And
now
so
he's
that's just what
acting
it is.
like now he's acting like he's gonna close the border or control it somehow. He's
No,
doing that
no, no,
because
no,
he's
no.
losing support from his own base with the
He's not going to do
millions,
anything.
with the millions.
Right.
But I was gonna mention I was out handling some business this week, and I got into a conversation with a guy who was there, and he's not from Chicago. He said he was gonna visit Chicago. This was a couple of years ago, I think, when they really had, a bad gang problem. It was worse than it is now. And so I didn't know this, and I been keeping up with what's going on in Chicago. But this was Memorial Day a few years ago, and he said that there was 187 shootings Memorial Day
Mhm.
weekend in Chicago. This is
I remember,
mostly, if not all, black people. And
of
I just
course.
want to ask anyone if you've heard Sharpton or anyone who you consider to be a black
No,
leader. You may consider Joe Biden to be a black leader. Did you hear him? Did you hear Black Lives
no,
Matter say
no,
anything? Because this is
no, and they
affecting
won't.
black people, and black lives are supposed to matter.
Yeah,
So you
right.
got
Ha, what a
from
joke.
from Friday evening after 5 p.m. until Memorial Day at midnight, there was 187 shootings.
Yep.
How ironic is that? 187, the number they do on the police radio that represents murder.
They said, yeah, but yeah, and that's what I tell people. Black Lives Matter is a farce, and it was an affront for the LGBTQ community. It had nothing to do
Yeah,
with Black Lives. It
it
it,
is.
it was, you know, the LGBTQ community um sort of piggybacked onto the civil rights movement
Right.
there,
Sure did.
and and so that's what it was all about. It was never about Black lives. So
Right.
yeah, I remember that incident that you're describing, and several of the holidays, hundreds of Black people were shot and killed by other Black people. No one says a word. Black Lives
Right.
Matter. They never say anything. They never march. Al Sharpton, NAACP, Congressional Black Caucus,
Nothing.
nothing. So again, I have nothing for you. If
Mm.
my only recourse is to vote for Democrats, I'm going to vote. I will vote the couch.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm not. No way.
Right. And then, like you said at the beginning, there are other, not only another party, but there are other parties. I
Right.
don't suggest that people vote the Socialist Party, but that is one of
Right.
the other parties, and the Green Party
Green
that
Party. Yep.
people don't know of. I
Right.
uh I have never voted Democrat, but in 2000 I voted for Harry Brown, who is an
Right.
independent, because I pay attention. I listen to what people say. I'm not a politician, so
Right.
technically I don't work for or is connected to any party, and I'm open minded. I watch what they
Right.
say. I watch what they say, and
Right.
so we don't need to be locked in, but this is the
No.
reason why there's a direct correlation between why we are the only race that I think now is 80 or 85% to one party.
Yeah.
That's the only reason, because of a tradition of them
Yeah.
with the slavery of us being tethered to them, with giving us stuff, and
Yeah.
also them convincing us that they love us or care about us.
Yeah, the Democratic propaganda machine lives, right? I'm
Yeah.
just happy that so many people are waking up and saying, "Wait a minute." And again, anyone with more than two brain cells, if they're honest with themselves, they know something's amiss. They know um, that something's wrong, but some are never going to admit it.
Yeah.
Because some people, their hatred for Trump uh, trumps common sense and hey, pun intended.
Yeah. But
And they're just not willing. And I've talked to some people. I talked to a lady that she said her daughter doesn't want to vote for Biden, but she hates Trump. So you know, some people, I'm voting Biden because I hate Trump. So what can you
it's
do?
like, just don't be
Um,
married to any political party. And this is such a free country.
no,
People have the
no,
right to not vote if they don't want to vote, just like they have the right to
yeah,
leave if they want to
exactly.
leave. That's fine. Some people say that they want to leave depending on who gets elected, which is kind of short-sighted because of what's going to be, at least another 4 years.
Right.
But presidents come and
Yes,
go. Presidents come
come and
and
go.
go. if you want to say, well, the founding fathers and the writers of the Constitution owned slaves, okay, do this. Get out the Constitution, look at those amendments, and read through it and see if there's anything on there that doesn't benefit you or anything that you would want to go away. And you would find
Right.
that it all works in your favor. This is if you're wrongly accused or there's some injustice that was performed against you and you need to hire a lawyer, that lawyer is going to have to stand on that Constitution when they defend
Right.
you. It's
Exactly.
gonna work. It should work in your favor.
Right. And I agree. And I'm just so thankful that so many people are waking up. And I had one of my, I think a couple of live chats ago, and I said this is the Great Awakening, and then
Mhm.
someone was in the comment section. They were like, "No, this isn't an awakening. Awakening. People have never been asleep." I said, "Oh, yes, they were, in my
Yeah.
opinion." And I think, in my opinion, the migrant crisis, all the money to Ukraine, when there's so many Americans that are hurting, that are struggling, with this economy, Bidenomics. But again, the Democratic Party does nothing for you. I was telling someone earlier, they discriminate against Americans. If you are an
Yeah.
American, they will do nothing for you. But they're supposed to be the party of tolerance and diversity
Yeah.
and equity and all that other stuff. Come on.
And then when you mention immigrants, you made me think about the fact that there's this thing where there's this hatred for the rich and pseudo wealth envy of people that
Oh
have
yeah.
money and talk about how they need to pay their fair share. Think about how unfair it is for illegals to come here and not pay any taxes. And then also, people need to know that I think it's $85,000 a year. If someone's salary is 85K or more, those people pay 51%, something like 51% of all the taxes of America. I don't pay taxes because I don't
Right.
make that amount of money. I pay in federal, but get all my federal back. But you talk
Right.
about people paying their fair share. If I didn't, I mean, I make pretty good money now, but if I didn't have to pay any federal taxes, I mean, if I never pay
Right.
any taxes, I'm sorry, I don't pay federal. But if I didn't have to pay anything, if I got 100% of my check or from my wages, man, I would have a couple of cars and a bigger house and take more vacation trips. So I think
Facts. I
we're
tell
looking
people
we're
all the
looking
time.
in the wrong direction. You know.
Exactly. And at least I think I told you they took $14,000 from me, federal and state taxes, last year,
Mm.
and at least take my money and help Americans. At least that.
Right.
Come on. And look,
Right.
I mean, I
Something
told you
that
where I
everyone's
live here.
gonna benefit from. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Not, I'm not against immigrants, but help Americans. Americans first. That's all I say.
Yeah.
I've been saying been my mantra since I started this series,
Yeah.
and that's my really bad issue I have with why that would be like you going to your neighbor's house, feeding, clothing, providing for their kids, and then you come home and do nothing for your own children.
Yeah. Right.
You see Yeah. And so that doesn't make sense to me. And then they're trying to, I even have people who come in my live chat sometimes. This channel is anti immigrant. No, it's not. But I am.
Anti-illegal
Right.
immigrants.
And I have a lot of people that come in the live chat that say were immigrants. They came in legally. I talked to Florida, big channel supporter. I talked
Yeah,
to her on the
good.
phone earlier today, and she was telling me, she was an immigrant. She came in, right. Of course, they didn't roll out the red carpet. She came here and worked hard,
Mhm.
and we talked for hours. And I love talking to people who actually did immigrate here, but they did it legally.
Right.
And so, and like I said, the people who did it legally, they're angry. Like, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
and
what is this? You
I
know?
bet you I bet you people don't know, and the Democrats aren't gonna tell people that there's a larger percentage of Spanish Americans who are against illegal immigration than any other
Oh
race.
yeah,
There's a
they're not.
larger
Yeah,
percentage of them,
Ve-
and they're immigrants. They're Spanish, and
And then
so
I've
they
seen some. Yeah,
appreciate,
I've
they
seen some.
went through the proper channels, and it may have not
Yeah,
happened in a year or two, but they are law-abiding citizens. They don't want to get off
yeah.
on the wrong foot and come here
No.
as a criminal. I wouldn't want to sneak into a country and then be looking over my shoulder all the time,
Yeah,
like David Banner on the Hulk. I got to keep it moving because I don't know when somebody's gonna come and my enemy is gonna, you know gonna
yeah.
drag me away.
I'm glad you made that statement because that is definitely true. A lot of people, when I have those live chats and we're talking about that situation, a lot of people, they don't realize a large percentage of Hispanics who came legally, they don't like the situation either. They're like, I worked hard. No one gave me anything. And so they're, like you said, the Democrats won't say anything. They're angry too. And I'm seeing a lot of Hispanic, I guess I'll say puppets, just like we have the Black American puppets and poverty
Yeah.
pimps. They're trying to shame those that came over here and did it legally. Shame on you. You're turning your back on these people that need help. And they're like, no, it's not that. But I had to come here. I had to work hard, struggle. No
Yeah.
one, laid out a red carpet for me. So, like you said, a lot of people don't realize, they don't like it either.
Yeah. And
And so,
I wanted to ask you something before I forget, just
okay,
about this debate that's coming up. There's a debate
right.
scheduled with Biden and Trump. Do you
Yeah.
think that Biden is going to actually go through with this debate, knowing that there's a very good chance they're going to be requiring drug testing? And if anybody saw
Um,
the video of Biden a couple of weeks ago where he was speaking and his eyes were like this, and he didn't blink for
I,
17 seconds. He didn't look like himself. So some people thought
I,
it was AI. He's
I'm not,
juiced up.
I
He's juiced up
still
on
feel,
something.
yeah, they're gonna find a way if they can get him drugged up, where he can string together more than two sentences.
Mm.
They let him talk sometimes, but not for a long period of time, because then he goes off the rails.
Yeah.
I, if he goes through with the debate, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
I was just looking at a video before we started this recording, where he was standing up, and I got to go look at it again on the Benny Johnson channel. He's real good too. Uh, and Biden was on stage and he was trying to sit down, and he was like, "Where's the chair?" And you could tell he's just not, you know, cognitively,
No.
he can't.
When we
I don't
say
know. I
that
don't
he
know
doesn't,
where he was. I don't know.
right? He doesn't know. He really doesn't know where he is. It
It's
is
sad.
elder abuse, and
Right. It is. It's abuse now. You know this man. You know the cognitive ability or lack thereof, so far as this man is concerned. But you keep propping this man in front of the American people, like we can't see his greatly diminished uh, mental faculties. Come on.
yeah, weekend at
Anyone with two
Biden's.
eyeballs can see that. So,
Just put
but
some sunglasses on him and put a piece of wood up his back like the scarecrow and prop him up and carry him
yeah.
around.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they're going to try to do something. What, I don't know. They're up to something. So they're going to, they may come out with some, oh, this happened, some lie. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
And I
uh,
hope that they do let Biden debate, and everyone who's a Biden supporter and is planning on voting for him, you should want to see him debate. You
but,
should want to. You say, well, he's old and he should want to sit down, and there shouldn't have to be a audience in there. Whatever. Okay, all right. Y'all want to play that? Fine. But if you can't have a debate just for a half hour,
Mhm.
something is wrong.
And they know he can, and they know that. But even we see all the gaffes on social media with Biden, and then if you hear his supporters, oh no, he's okay. I mean, they're just lying to
Oh
themselves.
man,
They're-
Gavin Newsom,
oh, come on.
the governor of California, he's the biggest gaslighter of the Democrat Party,
Oh yeah.
talking
Oh yeah.
about Biden's age is his superpower. That's like saying your dementia is a superpower because that's what he acts like he's in the early
He
early
must be.
stages
Well,
of dementia.
I think he's smoking some of that stuff. I think it's legal there in California. So he's been in
Yeah,
one of them shops or something. I won't say it here, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Um, but come on, we're not. You think American people are that stupid? Really? So I've enjoyed this conversation. I didn't want to take too much more of your time. What are some parting
No, it's
shots? What
not.
would you like? I tell my subscribers again where you can be found,
Yeah.
and just tell us last statement. What are you predicting for November so far as the presidential election? Any predictions?
I feel like it's so unknown and so cloudy right now. I know it's possible that Trump could be in jail. I know it's possible that he could be. I hate to say that, but if they've gone this far, then they may go a little further. I don't know all the details about if he could run or if he could be on the ballot if he's in
Hmm.
jail. Um, I think that even though he has this conviction, that he could still run because the majority of Congress have criminal records. The
That
people that
part.
sit in
And,
Congress. But
yeah,
if
and I'll
if
tell you what,
if
a lot of
everyone is
people are saying
able to,
it would be
yeah,
a
go ahead.
revolution. But a
Yeah,
lot of people are saying,
if everyone is
yep,
able, I'm sorry, if Biden and Trump are both on the ballot, I think that Trump will win or at least get the majority of the votes.
yeah.
And then what happens after that is another story. I do expect to see a lot of rioting if Trump gets in there, and then with Biden that may happen
Oh
also.
yeah, they're saying, but they're saying if they keep if they find a way to keep Trump off that ballot, you're going to see a civil war part two because
Yeah,
people know that the last election was stolen, and you're gonna do it two times in a row. Come on, no, this country will destroy itself from within if that happens. If they find a way to remove Trump from the ballot, or if
yeah,
some shenanigans happen and Biden wins, this country is going to be torn apart. I see it
yeah.
happening.
I would recommend
So,
for people if they haven't
well, but
already
we
seen
thank
it.
you for
I'm
your
sorry.
time.
Can
Right,
you
go
hear
ahead.
me? No, I was
Okay, I
I
think
was about to say
you're
I was
freezing
about to
on me.
say. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If anyone has not seen the film Civil War, I don't know if it's still in theaters, but see this movie. It's a fiction movie, but it's what the country would be in if there was a civil war. Like the army divided into two sides, and
Okay.
there was no
Okay.
law, and so this is what we don't want to happen, and it's so feasible. But see that,
Okay.
and this it can happen. It is so possible. So just recommending that see that
Okay.
movie. And then you were asking me a question about where people can find me, or did you want me to repeat from what I was saying before? Am I breaking up?
Yes, go ahead and because you were cutting out, tell people where
I'm
they can
sorry.
find you on all of your various social media platforms.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So for video of our podcast, YouTube, just do a search Brutally Honest Talk Radio, and then you can catch our audio on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon. Also, we have a
All
Facebook
right.
page and a Twitter account, and we take emails from people at brutehonest@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank all of you for watching the Rollins Reviews YouTube channel. So you know where you can find the Brutally Honest Talk Radio Show. Um, and they have some good content over there. So please sub him up, hit that like button. And we're definitely going to continue to build this relationship because
Yeah.
I like the way he thinks. Okay. And when
Thank
I talk to like-minded people that can see what's happening in this country, I get excited because I know there's hope. Um, and
Yes.
so, thank you so much for giving us this time. And
Thank you.
I hope to see you soon. And I am going to upload the
Mhm.
video that we did. I've just, oh, you just, oh, you don't want to know how busy I've been. You see today when we got on, I've
Yeah.
had two contractors here. So, doing some
Yeah, on
work,
a
trying to get the
Saturday even. Right.
yeah, so had an electrician here. I just had a whole bunch of little projects going on, but you know how that is as a homeowner. You understand. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, so thank you so much, and um, see you soon. Okay,
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rolynn. Have a good weekend.
thank you. Okay, you too,
All
dear.
right.
I'll
Bye
see you
now.
tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Bye
See
bye.
you.
Okay.